Hello everyone, welcome. So today what we are going to discuss today is the methods of inquiry in psychology. This is the second chapter of CBSE class 11. So we will be proceeding with the same. So now let us discuss about the methods of inquiry in psychology. So, whenever I need to understand about a person, I need to query the person, I need to ask questions to the person, and then I will start thinking about it, and thus I get to understand how the behavior is changing. So, that is what we are going to deal with. Now, we have the research. So we really need to do a research. Really need to think about. Really need to find out. Okay, so why is it needed? So let me give you a statement. I say that girls when they go on the road, they create more of accidents rather than boys. So am I going to accept it as it is? Or am I going to question it and find out whether what is being stated is right or wrong? So then in that case, some amount of research is required. Okay, I need to validate the statement that I'm taking. Okay, that is when I can make an identity. So now, if I say research, it is a journey from the known to the unknown. Why do we require such an amount of research? To increase the knowledge, to gain more information or enhance understanding, because the more we learn, the more we study, we'll gather more and more informations and we can enhance the understanding. To achieve more clarity in certain ideas or process. So if I'm doing this, then why should I be expected to do in this way alone? Why not in some other way? To develop a foresight to act timely, develop more efficient ways of carrying out tasks. So that is again one thing. So research is conducted within two paradigms that we have, which is called scientific and interpretative. Okay, so these are the places of research I have. Okay, so now I'm coming to the scientific paradigm. When talking about research, I'm talking about a scientific paradigm. Okay. So psychology suggests that human behavior can be studied following the methods adapted by sciences like physics, chemistry, and biology. So earlier we had already stated that psychology as a part of natural science, psychology as a part of social science. So psychology is part of discipline as well. So physics, chemistry, biology, everything is included when I want to learn the psychology of a human behavior. The key assumptions of this view is that human behavior is predictable, caused by internal or external forces, and can be observed, measured, and controlled. So, all these things take care of the human behavior. So, first thing I am going to say is human behavior is predictable. I know how would you react. And it is driven by some external forces. It can be observed, measured, and controlled. So, in order to achieve these goals, the discipline of psychology for larger part of the 20th century restricted itself to the study of overt behavior, that is behavior that could be observed and measured. So we are now talking about mostly the overt behavior, not the covert behavior. So wherein it is covered, it is internal, but here overt behavior which is very much understood, which is very much identifiable. Now, what are the goals of scientific research in psychology? So let me put a question to you. How many of us have ever written essays on topics like fair scene, a marketplace, my first metro journey, my likes, my dislikes, if I wear a tree? So we would have written this up, right? So most of us would have written this up. So in this case, we think about the goals which is there in the scientific research in psychology. What are the goals we have? The description. When we say description, it is the recording of the particular behavior which helps it proper understanding. So I am recording up a particular behavior. This description is recording it and reporting a behavior or a phenomena as accurately as possible. So how does it help us? It helps us in distinguishing a particular behavior from other behaviors within a particular category. There may be further minute descriptions. Goals of scientific research in psychology. So again, few questions if you can think about. Can you sometimes tell in advance how a friend would react if you say something? Uh, Say if you told the person that today's exam is cancelled. So how do you think your friend would react? Or if you have said that today ma'am has kept a surprise test, how would it react? Can you forecast how a person with a history of short temperedness would react if criticized? A person who is short tempered, who gets angry very easily, and you're ending up criticizing that person, how would that person react? So we know a person would be angry. Maybe if the class is cancelled, a person might feel happy. Okay, might be if suddenly there is a leave and there was an examination, so there will be a chaos that will be happening in the mind, wherein the child would be confused whether there will be a retest, what will be the changes that would take place, and etc. Okay, so it is quite predictable. Goals of scientific research in psychology, first we said, is recording and reporting it. So you are understanding what are you going to talk about, you're observing that. Once you're observing it and you're reporting it very minutely, okay, the person behaved in this way. Next, you're making a prediction. Prediction description also helps us forecasting a behavior. So as I was telling you, how would a person behave, so that you have come out of having a description, understanding how the person behaved in the past. So now you're predicting. I had been predicting, so if this thing happens, then the person would behave in this particular manner. Prediction becomes more accurate with increase in the number of person observed. Now, next coming to explanation. So, now explanation would mean what? It helps us to know the causal factors of or determinants of behavior. So, there is an explanation you are having. Okay. So you're saying something like harsh parenting leading to low level of confidence in the children. So when you are trying to put this up, so you are giving a determinant, you are identifying what are the causes, the conditions, the antecedent conditions that is being there, the behavior that is being studied. So there is a cause effect relationship that takes place. There are two variables. There is an independent variable and there is a dependent variable. Okay. So the variables comes into play. Next is control. If underlying person or determinants of a behavior is known, we can control that behavior by making changes in its antecedent conditions. So now if I know, So first, I am recording, I am reporting the uh, behavioral changes. Second, what am I doing? I'm predicting the kind of changes that has taken place. So if something like similar thing would take place, then I can predict how the person would react. Thirdly, what is that? There is an explanation for that. So I am giving you the factors that can, that would be involved in causing such kind of behavioral changes. And lastly, control. So in that case, what I'm doing, if I know you're behaving in this way, then I'll control the factors, the variables, the independent variables, so that your behavior, which is a dependent variable, would act accordingly. Okay. So next that we have is goals of scientific research in psychology. What are the goals? Next goal that we set recording, we set prediction, explanation, control, and now what we have is application. So now application. So herein what is there? This goal for scientific inquiry aims to bring positive changes in the lives of people. So when I had been predicting it, I have done my part, how I can control the negative behaviors and all those things. So application is looking forward to positive changes. That is, reducing your anger is again a positive changes. Enhancing your skill is again a positive change. So we are looking forward to having positive changes. So there are 5 goals that we have talked about. The first being description, second being prediction, third, explanation, fourth, control, fifth, application. So now, if we talk about any situation which is placed here, we'll see that we are going ahead in the same manner. A psychologist aims to report the symptoms of a little understood maladaptive or problematic psychological condition in her very exploratory or beginner stage. She is addressing the goal of something in her scientific inquiry. Okay, so what is the goal of colors, or what is the goal of music in her scientific inquiry? So, what would you say? First, you will find out how the person is behaving, how the person is changing with the change in music, and you will note the things very, very accurately. Then, what would you do? You would have a prediction. Maybe this a soft kind of music helps the child concentrate better. A harsh kind of music is going to make the child aggressive. So you have made a prediction. After making a prediction, what are you going to do? You are going to go for an explanation. So now you are going to explain the factors completely. Okay, and then apply. Now when you're applying, when you're trying to tell the parents or the stakeholders, you will tell them to, you're applying the matter and telling them to play a soft music whenever he's getting angry or something like that. So this is how things would be followed. If I just go for another example, a clinical psychologist proves that people who indulge in negative self-talks and doubt themselves will develop depressive tendencies later in their lives. So, if I talk about this, so what had happened? First, there was a description that took place. So, went ahead, we saw that people who had been indulging into the negative self talks, we found them that they became feeble, they became people who could not be talked about, or we could not grow confidence of the person, had always had a thought stating that I can't do this. Okay, so we gave that description, we saw that. Then what we did, we are making a prediction. We are making a prediction stating that a person indulging in negative self talks, there will be depression that is caused. We are giving an explanation for that. Okay. So after looking through all the matters, explanation, and then after that we are going ahead with the uh, uh, control mechanism. So I'll control on the negative self talks. I'll tell them to grow on more of a positive self talk, and after that I will have an application. So this is how things would go on. So that's it for this video, and in next video we'll talk about the steps in conducting research. Thank you.